better time because we're talking about micro courses. Kelley has a background in education, so she doesn't just help people start their micro courses. She actually understands what keeps people engaged and why these old school courses are not working so well.
Mhm.
So, Kelley, I don't know where you want to start. I have a lot of questions for you because I think I'm launching a micro course. I don't know what to call it. Let's start with what the heck a micro course is.
Yeah, that's a great place to start because I know a lot of people also get mini courses and micro courses kind of mixed up. So
Okay.
the micro course is basically supporting a concept in education that we call micro learning. And micro learning has been in the educational space, has been around for a really long time. And it's the recognition that with the way the human brain learns and with the amount of attention span that the human brain actually has, that the brain learns best in 10 to 15-minute chunks of learning, which not only um, shows that traditional classroom education maybe isn't ideally set up, but it's certainly also following along with, the in the entrepreneurial space, online education doesn't align with what a lot of the traditional online course experts have taught, which is, in fact, I just saw an ad the other day, and I won't say who the ad was from, but it said, all you need is all you need is content and a computer, and dump all your knowledge into, you can dump all your knowledge into online course to create, evergreen revenue. And I know that a lot of traditional ways that we've talked about online courses kind of follows that point of, the more content there is, the more valuable it is. Give them every single thing that but with the idea of micro learning, this actually works against how our brains like to learn content. And so a micro course is an online course where the modules or teaching videos are no more than 10 to 15 minutes. So whereas you might have like an online course that might be 6 weeks, and then a mini course, right, which would be maybe like a day, 2 days, 2 weeks, something that's smaller. A micro course is any kind of time length. It doesn't matter what the length is, but what the piece of the micro course is that the videos are small and bite sized. So you get really specific niche content.
So it's kind of like micro teaching.
Yes.
And I want to go way off track. I won't, but I feel like you have tons to say about public education and what's going on with children and social media. But we'll talk about that off camera. But when it comes to micro courses and micro teaching, it doesn't matter if it's a big course or a little course. It's about keeping people engaged.
It is. It's about the amount of content that you're giving in one period of time. And the cool thing about micro courses is, I like to think of it as like a chapter of a book. So instead of having the full online course that might be your whole book, you can deliver micro courses, and each micro course might be a chapter of the book. And it really gives, not only obviously is it user friendly, it's more engaging. I know many people create micro courses or create courses in general for others that are busy, whether they're moms or they have a full-time job and they're working on a side business, or they're entrepreneurs and they're traveling, or whatever it may be. But time is so precious these days also, especially I think coming out of the pandemic, and so many people have been online. People really are craving that micro type of content. If you look at Instagram Reels, if you look at TikTok, everything is about short, fast content. And so this really goes right along with the current trends that we're seeing of that, that micro, short, bite size concept. But it also gives the creator a lot of flexibility. You could launch one micro course at a time. You could bundle 5 micro courses together for like a larger ticket price. You could create a micro course to test your audience, to do research, market research, to see if it's a concept that they even want to learn about. So there's a lot of really cool, flexible things that, micro courses can do for your business that a full online course can't.
When it comes to authors, and I imagine we're talking nonfiction authors, not fiction authors, do you have clients who repurpose their books? So people are just, binging the micro courses and
Yeah.
skipping the books.
Yeah. In fact, I just got sent a pile of books for a client that I have who wants to turn his pocket guides into micro courses as well. So it's certainly something that people are doing. I've worked with attorneys who have who've written books, and there was one, he had a book that he wrote about the 3 pillars of the mass tort industry. So we created 3 micro courses on each of the pillars. So yeah, I mean, I believe that I believe, one, of course, I'm biased, all authors should have some kind of online course because the content is already there. But a
Yeah.
micro course would be really great for authors too, because I think that when strategic, they could create a micro course that could be a lead into their book. Maybe it's like the first chapter of the book or something, or maybe it's a general overview. And then for people who want a deeper dive, they can then go and purchase the book. So that could be like the next step in the customer journey. For someone like me, it takes a lot for me to pick up a book and be committed to reading, just because I have kids and I have a family and, things like that. But I would certainly jump into 5 15-minute videos to learn about something that then might make me think, oh, wow, this is so great. I think I do want to commit the time to actually reading the book.
You know what? I used to love reading, and I'm a slow reader.
Mhm.
So it could take me weeks to finish a book even if I love it. But
Mhm.
now with my attention everywhere, I
Mhm.
have trouble reading. Like it's
Yep.
getting harder to read, and I have robots read to me because there's
Mhm.
all these accessibility tools. And then
Mhm.
I 2x it, I 3x it sometimes
Yeah.
because of my attention span. So it is it is tricky. Like in the publishing industry, 2.8 million books are published a year, something
Mhm.
big like that. And we're competing with TikTok. We're
Yeah.
competing with very limited attention spans.
Mhm.
Do you
Mhm.
have an idea of like what is 15 minutes the limit for attention span, or is it less?
So they say adults are 12 to 15 minutes. And then as you get younger in age, the attention span gets lower. So, like a high school student would be about 10 to 12 minutes. Younger kids are about 8 to 10. I personally will notice that I start to lose attention before 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So when I work with my clients, I tell them like 10 to 12 minutes is probably perfect. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And but if you think about it, and you've mentioned that you're launching a course, I think it also takes the pressure off of the creator
Yeah.
to be like, okay, I have to sit and film this 30-minute training module or 1 hour training module. And so, being able to just say, okay, this one concept, I want you to make a 10-minute video on. And then we'll go to that second concept. You're going to make a 10-minute video on that. It's a lot easier, and it's certainly a lot more realistic and doable when we're talking about course creation to film, things like that also. So I think it's a win-win all the way around. Um, and it really allows people to get into very like niche specific content.
Yeah.
And again, I've noticed it just has so much flexibility with what you can do with the micro courses once they're all finished.
And you're taking that stack of books and you are going to design the micro course for him.
Yes. So I'm taking his content, and
Okay.
that's one of the things that I know I'm gonna learn more than I would like to about stock options
Okay. Wow.
compensation. But yeah, what I do is I go through and I will structure, like, I think these should be the 5 concepts of your micro course for this. And then of course, if they want more, they can purchase the book.
Oh, I have to connect you to this woman named Parshal who she DFYs video, like masterclass style
Mm,
courses.
mhm.
She's limited to location. She's in San Diego, so she's limited. But yeah, just you're taking
Mhm.
people, you're branding them in a new way. You're reformatting them.
Yeah, yeah, and, I get a lot of people too that have, like you said, they have master classes, they don't wanna do their master class anymore, so I break up their master class into micro courses, so it's just something that's automated. People have week-long, online courses that are weeks long that maybe they've fallen flat, maybe they're not seeing the sales anymore, that we are kind of restructuring and repurposing them. But anybody that has content is just a great person to work with. The same person who wrote these books has about 100 blogs. And so I'm also going through his blogs and pulling like, oh, these 5 blogs are on real estate, we should turn the content into a micro course on real estate. And so, it's really fun, and like you said, it's a great way to repurpose and reuse and then refresh the types of products and the things that you're offering without having to go back and rewrite or recreate.
So
Yeah.
I understand now why your offer is only in the premium bundle because it sounds like you've been at this for a while, and
Mhm.
it's not just something you do, it's something you're also academically trained to do, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah,
And
so I spent 15 years in the middle school classroom, recognizing that the way we teach just isn't conducive to all kids.
yeah,
Uh,
that's probably like the most attention deficit age ever.
yeah, it's and these poor kids get labeled. They get labeled based on their grades, and I'm sure this is part of the conversation we can have
Yeah.
off camera. But what it did was it led me to getting my master's in curriculum and instruction, because I really wanted to take a look at how curriculum was being designed, learn about different ways that we can design curriculum. And I eventually was promoted to in my district to oversee all of the health curriculum that was being taught K through 12. And so when I moved into the entrepreneurial space, and like a lot of people, I started taking online courses to learn things. I was like, these courses
Boring.
would be so much better if they followed true educational research. And so it's a big
Hmm.
passion of mine. It's fun to work in this space now and kind of see a lot of similarities that I saw in the public schools. And so it's definitely something that I love to do, and I've been doing it in a lot of different ways for a long time.
And you talk about in your micro course, 5 steps, 5 simple steps to creating a micro course. You talk
Mhm.
about how you can mix it up. You can like whether it's for your next lead magnet, low price offer, or something combined, you can use the
Mhm.
micro course. I'm curious what order you like to do it in and what price points you recommend for micro courses.
So one of the things that I think is important to consider is where your micro course is going to fit in the client journey, right? So obviously 5 simple steps to creating a micro course. That's for someone who's like, "Oh, my ears just kind of perked up about what this is. What do I need to get started?" So that would be a lead magnet, something that brings people into the space. And then, I could maybe create a micro course on how to make your course more engaging, right? And that might be like the next thing that they move into. And so that might be a $27 micro course, a $47 micro course. Micro courses in
Okay.
general are going to be lower in price than a longer course. You certainly can add, resources and downloads and templates and things like that to get the price up. But one of the biggest things, I like to do and this is part of why I call myself a curriculum strategist, is recognizing that, once you have 6 different micro courses that will meet your customers in different parts of their journey, that's when you can start to bundle and put them all together and put the $500 price tag on them, or, you know, um, lead them into high ticket coaching or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I would say in general, if you're going to put a price tag on one micro course, it should be somewhere between $27 and $49.
Okay. Well, in honor of micro courses, we're coming up to 15 minutes, so let's keep people's attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And one last question. What's the tiniest micro course that you can do?
I think you could do one that's maybe one module,
Okay.
maybe 2 or 3 lessons. You know, it
Okay.
certainly is something that you can get out there. And I always say, if you have people that, this is my tip that I'll leave with. If you have clients that ask the same questions, like you realize I get this question all the time, that's a great place to start with a micro course because it will automate that process for you. It will give people the answer and you know, it's people always go, I don't know where to start. And I say, well, if you have an FAQs or if you wanted to have an FAQs, each one of those FAQs could be micro courses.
Beautiful. Thank you,
Yep.
Kelley.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, everyone, learn more about Kelley if you're interested in micro courses. Kelley knows what she's doing. So teachyourBrilliance.online, that's different, /create a micro course, and find her in the business bundle coming up too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk.